Welcome to the Get Fit Guys quick and dirty tips to get moving and shape up. My name is Brock Armstrong and I am the Get Fit Guy. Training methods that include things like heavy resistance training, explosive resistance training, plyometrics, electrostimulation, and even vibration platforms have all been used to potentially enhance your vertical jump or your vertical leap performance. But which one of these have actually been proven to be the most effective? Well, that's what we're going to look at today. Now, leg muscle power and vertical jump performance are considered critical elements for successful athletic performance, and not to mention for simply performing successful daily activities. Not surprisingly, a lot of research has focused on the development of vertical jump performance, and here are 3 studies that I think stand out from the crowd. The first one is a study called Does Plyometric Training Improve Vertical Jump Height? A meta-analytical review. And in that one, the researchers found that yes, plyometric training significantly improved vertical jump height. Researchers actually saw an increase in jump height between 4.7% and 8.7%. And with results like that, plyometric training appears to be an effective form of physical conditioning for augmenting the vertical jump performance in leaping individuals. Now, the second study is called Improved Maximal Strength, Vertical Jump and Sprint Performance After 8 Weeks of Jump Squat Training with Individualized Loads. And that study concluded that 8 weeks of jump squat training resulted in significant improvements in counter movement jump, squat jump, maximal isometric squat force, and average force over 100 meters, as well as 50-meter sprint time, which is a lot. And this suggests that short, and in this case it was 8 weeks, jump squat training can improve your vertical leap, plus a bunch of other athletic performance abilities simultaneously. And finally, the third study that I want to touch on is a study called Evaluation of Plyometric Exercise Training, Weight Training, and Their Combination on Vertical Jumping Performance and Leg Strength. And this study provided support for the use of a combination of traditional weightlifting, Olympic-style weightlifting exercises, and plyometric drills to improve your vertical jumping ability and explosive performance in general. So this study, combined with the other studies, reinforces the importance of taking a balanced approach to your training inputs in order to maximize the different strength characteristics that are involved in jumping. Weight training improves your ability to generate force, while plyometrics help you to apply that force quickly. Now you put those together and they will likely help you jump higher. Now, I don't know who actually said it first. It was someone smarter than me for certain, but it is true that you can't improve what you don't measure. So let's look at how you can actually measure your own jump height before we try to improve it. So here's one way to measure your jump height. The first step is to find a wall that's high enough for you to execute your highest jump and not be limited by the ceiling or anything else that could impede your vertical velocity. Then the second step is to stand next to that wall and extend your arm fully above your head. Then mark your standing reach on that wall, or get a friend with a ladder or a chair to help you do that. And the third step is, from a standing start, jump as high as you can and touch the wall at the top of your jump. You can wet your fingers or put some chalk on your fingertips so you can leave a distinct mark on the wall and it's easier to see. And then the fourth and final step is to get your vertical jump distance by measuring between your standing reach and your jumping reach that were both marked on the wall. Done. Now you have your starting point. Now you can have a few tries, or you can take the average of those tries, or you can just choose the highest jump. It's up to you. Now, once you can actually touch the ceiling in that location, well, I guess, I don't know, you'll have to move to a bigger house or something. I'm a white guy and everyone knows we can't jump, so it's not a problem that I have had. But now let's talk about how you stack up. Now, the first thing to keep in mind is that average vertical leaping ability, well, it differs quite a lot between men and women, and this is due to the differences in muscle mass, body size, and strength. Now, also keep in mind that if you don't actually jump on a regular basis and you don't have cause to jump often or have never spent any time thinking or working on your jumping abilities, well, you are starting with a distinct disadvantage, neuromuscularly speaking. You can have the greatest jumping muscles in the world, but if your brain does not yet know how to recruit those muscle fibers in an effective and efficient manner, well, it's all for naught. Don't worry though, all it takes is practice. Your brain will figure it out. Now, another thing that factors in is our age. As we get older, our muscles get weaker and less springy. Now, most studies have shown that our highest jump heights occur when we are in our 20s. In fact, the average jumping height for 20 to 29-year-olds is 20 inches. On average, our best jumping happens before we hit the age of 30. Then after that, it slowly goes down by about 3 inches for each decade that we age. Now, keep in mind, this is a rough average, but it'll give you somewhere to start. One more thing to keep in mind is that it has been shown that depending on what sport you play, the average vertical leap differs as well. Of course, athletes in sports where jumping ability is an integral skill and is often tested, measured, and focused on, such as basketball, volleyball, and football, well, they have higher scores on jump tests when compared to athletes who don't need to jump to perform, like distance runners, hockey players, or swimmers. Now let's talk about how we actually jump. Now, the secret to jumping prowess, whether the jumper is human or otherwise, is rooted in basic physics. Increase your power to weight ratio and you will jump higher. It's pure science. So let's break this down a little further. First, what is power? Well, power equals force times velocity, where force is the maximal amount of strength that you have, and velocity is the maximum amount of speed that you have. When you find a way to increase your strength and your velocity in relation to your body weight, well, then your vertical jump will improve. So let's break that down a little farther, starting with strength. The most important strength components when we're talking about vertical jump are exercises like back squat, front squat, calf raise, and deadlift. If you are able to increase the amount of weight that you can effectively lift in these types of exercises, well, you increase your strength. Now, if you keep your body weight relatively the same or even lower, you will increase your power to weight ratio. Now, velocity is the speed at which you move. In this case, the speed at which you perform your vertical jump. And that is, let me tell you, it's pretty darn fast. Most vertical jumps take a mere 0.2 seconds to execute. And when you have some super quick velocity, you can use your strength maximally. All right, as we found out in the earlier studies, the best approach to increasing your vertical leap is through a combination of exercises. Strength exercises that are done in slow, controlled movements like squats and lunges develop one aspect, while power exercises that use fast and explosive movements like plyometrics and hang cleans develop another aspect. And, of course, practicing your maximal vertical jump will also help. Remember what we learned about those brain-muscle connections. Now, here are some exercises that you can try in rotation for a few weeks before you redo that leap test and see how much you've improved. The first exercise I recommend is Bulgarian split squats. The Bulgarian split squat develops strength and balance at the same time, both of which are important for successfully launching yourself into the air and then landing again without hurting yourself. Now, to do this, you stand a few steps in front of a bench or a chair with your back facing that bench or chair. Then you place your non-working leg up onto the seat with the top of your foot flat on the surface. Then using your front leg that is anchored to the floor, lower your body until your back knee is nearly touching the floor. Then push back up through the heel of your front foot, and that is 1 rep. Now, the second exercise I recommend for vertical jump is knee to feet jumps. Now, this one is super fun and deceptively tiring, and it also does a great job of building extra lower body power. Now, to do this, you get down onto your knees and sit on your heels. Then swing your arms for momentum as you explosively jump up and shove your hips forward as you rapidly swing your feet and your legs under your body. Then you land that movement in a squat with your arms out in front of you. Then slowly lower yourself down into a kneeling position again, moving down one knee at a time, and that is 1 rep. And the third exercise I recommend are box jumps. Now, to get the most out of this one, use your maximum power at all times. Don't just use the minimum amount necessary to avoid face planting. Now, to do this, you find a sturdy box or a piece of furniture that will hold your weight and also not slip around the floor. Place it in front of you and jump onto the box. Then jump back down again, landing with soft knees in a crouching position. Now again, to get the most benefit out of this one, focus on intensity over quantity, meaning once your form starts to suffer and fall apart, well, the workout is over. And the fourth exercise I recommend is jump rope. Jumping rope strengthens and helps build springiness in your muscles that you need to execute a vertical leap. And it also helps improve your general jumping abilities and to develop those neuromuscular connections we were talking about. You can find some good jump rope workouts in a past article that I'll link to over at getfitguy.quickanddirtytips.com and look for episode 412. But basically, grab your jump rope and jump on any firm surface where you have plenty of room. A good place to start is to jump for 10 minutes per day. Now, feel free to break this up into smaller chunks if you feel like doing 10 minutes all at once is too intimidating. You don't want to end up injured from too much too soon, so be careful. Now, the fifth exercise I recommend is calf raises. Now, Shaquille O'Neal reportedly did 1,000 calf raises every day before bed. Now, by doing this, he apparently increased his vertical leap by 12 dunking inches. Whether that's folklore or not, I don't know, but calf raises are an effective way to add some coil and recoil into your jump. Calf raises are a simple exercise, and when you're doing that type of volume, but please don't go from 0 to 1,000 all in one go, well, you don't need any weight or any gear. Although I am a fan of doing them right on the edge of a stair so you can get the maximum range of motion. Now, the sixth exercise that I recommend is depth jumps. Now, this one is likely the most common exercise that is ever prescribed to increase your vertical jump. If you only do one of the exercises that I talk about today, do this one. Now, to do this, you use that same platform that you used for the box jumps, and you simply jump off the box. Then immediately jump up off the ground vertically. The very second your feet touch the ground after jumping downward, you should start jumping upwards. This trains your body to use and reuse the elastic energy in your muscles to propel yourself with both velocity and power. Now, as you get better at this exercise, you can modify it by adding obstacles, hurdles, faster repetitions, and of course by increasing the height of the box you're jumping off of. Now, the seventh exercise that I recommend is the trap bar or hex bar deadlifts. I would recommend this exercise over the weighted squat, but you know what? Both can be helpful to build strength and force that is necessary to jump high. But the thing I like most about this over the squat is that it uses similar biomechanics to a vertical jump. The fact that the weight is centered around your body can allow you to stay upright and in a more jump-like pose. Now, to do this, you stand in the center of the trap bar and you grasp the handles. And keep your back straight and lift the bar up off the ground in one slow, smooth motion. Then you pause for a second or two at the top and then lower the bar back down to the ground in a smooth and controlled motion. And the eighth and final exercise that I recommend to increase your vertical leap is the hang clean pull. Now, at first, you may think this one is out of place, but if you go and watch a video of someone doing the hang clean pull, and I highly recommend that you do before you attempt it, you will see that the motion being executed is basically a weighted jump without leaving the ground, which makes this both a strength and a plyometrics exercise that targets the quads, the calves, the glutes, the hamstrings, the shoulders, and the traps. So to do this, you stand with your feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart with the barbell at your feet. Then you squat down and pick up the barbell and hold it about waist level. Then bend your knees and waist, keeping your back nice and straight, and lower the weight to the top of your knees. Then explode upwards with your legs, your hips, and your calves while pulling the weight upwards with your shoulders. Then reset the barbell to waist level and do it again. Word on the street is that Wilt Chamberlain had a vertical leap of 48 inches. That's 4 feet, with Daryl Griffith and Michael Jordan close behind. But the average NBA player can only jump about 28 inches. So don't despair if you can't measure up to Wilt the Stilt. I mean, neither can LeBron, I'm just saying. But in the end, if you want to jump higher, well, you need to practice jumping higher. But by including some of these exercises in your workout regimen, you will certainly get there faster. Remember, it's all physics. Now, for more jumping info, vertical tips, and to join in the leaping conversation, head over to facebook.com/getfitguy or twitter.com/getfitguy or visit me over at brockarmstrong.com. Now, my name is Brock Armstrong, and I am the Get Fit Guy, asking you, what are you waiting for? Get out there and jump.